Okay, I still see some people signing on today, but if we get AJ and Elizabeth on board here, we're going to go ahead and get started. Are you guys on? Are you ready to go? We can go ahead and start.
We are on. We're locked and loaded, and we are ready to go, Christy.
Cool. So we'll let the rest of the people kind of signing on, and then hopefully by the time we get through some of our intros, they will be all signed in and do that. So today, joining us, if you haven't figured it out already, is the mortgage office. We're so happy to have them on board and doing a presentation with us. You know, they're at all the events, hanging out with us. And we usually give AJ a blowhorn, which I don't even know is really necessary anymore. Is it, AJ? But,
well, that's very kind. Thank you, I think.
It's like me. You hand me a microphone, and I'm like, what do I need this for? But I think they just think it's a joke now. But we're so happy to be hosting them today to talk about what the mortgage office is able to do for all of our private lender friends. I'm Christy Bro, your host, if you have not joined one of our AAPL presentations before. And if you have any questions about today or anything else AAPL or conference related, please feel free to reach out and ask any questions. And then I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what today's presentation is. So it is a demonstration. We are going to be recording it, and it will be available about an hour or two after we finish up today. I'll have it edited and emailed out to everybody. And we do want to take your questions. AJ and Elizabeth are going to help answer those at the end of the presentation. So you can ask them as you're thinking about them. In your GoToWebinar toolbar, towards the bottom, you'll see a little tab for questions. All you do is just ask your questions there. Maybe these guys will get to answering the question as we're presenting, or maybe not. Doesn't matter. Either way, you can either be asking a great review question, or maybe it's just something we just rolled right over. So AJ, Elizabeth, I'm going to start handing this over to you guys now, so we can go ahead and get started. Hey guys, thanks again for joining us today. I really appreciate you hanging on board while we got through some of our technical issues.
Fair enough.
If you stick around to the end, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on with the conference, and there's an AAPL offer just after the questions. Are you guys all set, AJ?
We're ready to rock and roll. Chrissy, thank you so much for the warm intro as usual.
Anything for you guys.
You're too kind. Okay, fair enough. Here we go, guys. So good morning if you're here in the West Coast. Good afternoon if you're East Coast. And good lunchtime if you're there in the middle where Christy is. My name's AJ. Our company's Applied Business Software. We make the mortgage office. I'm here with Elizabeth Morales. She's our marketing director. And we want to thank you for your time today. I'm excited to give you an overview of our system here. First and foremost, I want to thank Apple for having us do this. The backstory, sorry, not Apple, sorry, AAPL. That's the official acronym there.
Did you feel my arm move to the non-mute button to be like, no?
Yes, I totally felt you doing that. It's funny because we were founding members of AAPL before it was actually AAPL. It was called something else. And I remember being in the room when people were discussing what should its formal name be. So I remember those meetings a long, long time ago. As Chrissy had said, we can definitely take your questions. We usually hold these things to the end. And the reason we do that is just so we stay on target and make sure we're getting through all the cool stuff I want to show you guys today. You're also welcome to email us, which is why we have that screen on front there, which is email us, right? So if you do that, we can actually answer your questions as well. Our marketing folks and interns are gathering the questions from our session here today. What they do is they summarize them, they bring them to me, and then at the end, I kind of blow through them all at once, and that tends to be the most efficient way to do these types of things. What else? Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to give you a quick little background, kind of about of us, what we do, things like that, and then we're going to dive in and give you guys an overview, okay? So, oh, great question, Elizabeth. Okay, so Elizabeth wants to make sure that everybody can see the screen in front of them, and that's the screen that you're looking at now should say a busy year. Text me yes or no or whatever, or send me an email or a text, and we'll see if that's what you're looking at. But you should see a screen called a busy year.
It shows a busy year.
Chrissy, you're my hero. Fantastic. Okay, so here we go. So we were honored to be awarded Service Provider of the Year last year by American Association of Private Lenders, and to be on stage with these rock stars, Nima from Gerasti, RCN, JCAP, leaders in the industry. So honored to be up there with them, honored to get the award from American Association of Private Lenders. We take that responsibility very seriously, and we really very much appreciate that. That was a big thing happened in the past 12 months. Also, we do speaking events on raising capital. This was at Pittsville, where we also won an award for Service Provider of the Year. We were recently at the California Mortgage Association. We were asked to do our input on servicing loans in-house versus outsourcing. It was a very lively session. You probably heard about it. A lot of fireworks on that one, but friendly fireworks, as we call it. We're also asked to do speed networking. This was Chrissy's brilliant idea at AAPL. Gerasi's now doing this. This is apparently my thing now. We do that most places wherever asked. We're also asked to do speaking engagements across the country. This one was from a conference in Canada about new Canadian rules and regulations, which were pretty in-depth knowledge on over here. I like this picture because I'd asked the audience if anybody had any questions, and that's what happened. And yeah, I was there a while, but a good group. Other thing exciting this year, we're growing. We've been around quite a long time, and last year was actually a record year, and we're about 28% above that, which is just mind-boggling to me. So fortunate to be in such this place with this team, and I just feel so blessed to come to work every day. I don't really consider it work. Speaking of teams, so we are a Southern California company. We're based here in Long Beach, California, and one of the fun things about our company is that it's interesting. You may not ever meet our tech support people, our programmers, our trainers, our outside consultants, our marketers, or any of those folks, but chances are you may get to meet our sales team, because our sales team goes to various trade shows, and I try to rotate it because we've got about 20 shows a year now, and we can't be everywhere for everyone, so we kind of divide and conquer. Ironically, this picture was taken 6 months ago, and my team is 30% bigger than that. And it's just another example of us expanding and growing. One thing that you may meet some other people at our company is to come to one of our training seminars. So we have seminars all the time because we get so many new customers every month, maybe 20, 30 customers a month, right? And so we got to get them trained up to speed and using the system properly. So we have in-house seminars. So this is an example of one of them. We limit the attendees to 16. That's the magic number for proper learning. You can meet our team, do the tour, and some people, they'll never admit it, they come not for the training necessarily, but for what happens after the training, which is we go to our local watering hole. That's down on Long Beach. That's on the water. It's usually sunset by the time we get there, and we take some of the attendees out, have a couple libations, feed them, talk about their business, how they started, things like that. Really get to know them. That's kind of our thing. We consider any customer part of our family. That was one family night. This was another family night. This is another family night. So we do this quite a bit. And if you do become a customer, we'll do the same with you. So there you go. Okay. Many of you don't know that our company was founded in 1978. Long time ago, right? The Pinto was a hot car. Dallas was a TV show, right? All that stuff. There was no iPhone. There was no PCs. There was no tablets. There was no internet. There was a whole lot of nothing. No Amazon. Remember life before Amazon? So we've got longevity here, and we've got knowledge of all the various rules and regulations that have come into play, the downturns, the boom markets, the changing legal environment, regulations, and all those fun things. And we've got all that in-house, and it makes us very proud that we carry that to the table and embed that in our software program. One cool thing that I want to announce we're going to be doing shortly is that it is our 40th year. I think our actual birthday is in a couple of weeks. So either starting today with this presentation or October 1st, I'm not sure, I have to check with marketing, we're offering birthday pricing, right? It's our birthday, but you get the cake. I think that's the tagline. So if anybody needs to buy our system, let us know, email us, go to the website below, contact us, say you're in the webinar, and I think you get a special deal. I'm not sure what that is yet. Got to check with marketing. So about our company, there's hundreds of companies that use our system, hundreds and hundreds. I think we have 400 companies using our system just in California. There's thousands of people using our system every day. And one interesting thing that people don't actually know about this is that our system is actually used in over 22 countries. And ironically, it's 22 countries when I made this slide, but we actually have a new client as of a couple of days ago in New Zealand. So now it's 23 countries. And I'm going to get more into that in just a minute. But yeah, we're a worldwide company. We sell all across the globe. When I started here 18 years ago, we were in 2 countries. Now we're in 23. Here's an example of some of our customers. So this is a handful, right? This is a small fraction, but you probably know these guys. right? These are the guys that have the booths, that are at the shows, big foot presence, big ads in Scotsman, guys that are doing well, right? So interesting thing about that is they all have a story. Just like we have a story, they have a story, and all these stories I find fascinating. For example, Pacific Private Money, Mark Hemp, great guy, great speaker, very knowledgeable, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Years and years ago, he was outsourcing, and he made the decision, looked at the numbers and said, if I'm going to grow this thing, if I'm going to be one of the big players in the industry, I need to bring that stuff in-house. So Mark made that decision to bring the private lending servicing in-house, has been thankful ever since, and now he's, Pacific Private Money. So he's got a great story there. Ask him sometime if you talk to him. RCN Capital. So they had various software systems before coming on board with us. And great thing about them is they were live. They have thousands of loans, and they were live in a matter of weeks. And they think our software sings. They've expanded. They're a huge player in the industry. Jeff Tess is a personal friend of mine. Great folks, great company. Very happy with the system. Valchris Investments had our one of the highest volume private lenders in the United States. Chris Boulder is a great guy. He's had our system over 25 years. Alpha Funding down there on the left. Apparently, I only pick people whose logos have blue in them. But Alpha Funding is very well known on the East Coast. Great guys, great company, very successful. Came to us with spreadsheets and some crazy deals, and they've made our software sing. Have been great references ever since. Nicest folks too. They're Mark, I believe, has a restaurant over there in New Jersey. You guys can go check it out. It's a great place. Anchor Loans. Anchor Loans bought our system in 1982. So they literally bought our system 36 years ago and have been using it ever since. And Anchor Loans, by many standards, is the largest private lender in the United States these days. They originated $1 billion last year. And when I say they originated $1 billion, I don't mean they had money that they invested with other people. And I don't mean that the cumulative life of the companies originated $1 billion. I mean that they originated $1 billion last year. They do over $100 million a month. They do it on our system. They do loans in every state. They use our origination system, our servicing system, our pool system, all works together. Huge success story, and that's what we like. We like to make people successful. John Hornick, keynote speaker, great guy, mayor, highly intelligent, great speaker on many, many various topics, and great in the legal profession, also has our system. So if it's good enough for John, it should be good enough for you folks. Lastly, Lima One. Lima One came on board recently. They too are high volume, and we're using another system that just wasn't cutting the mustard. So one thing about you'll learn with this is we are the last system people buy. Sometimes people will go to a cheaper system in the hopes it'll work out, or a newer company, and well, maybe it'll be okay. They said they're going to work with us. Look at these logos. These are the guys that have been doing this for a long time and know what they're doing, and they have a safe bet. And the safe bet is going with what they went with, which was us, which is a mortgage office. Interesting thing about that is that we don't just sell to private lenders. A lot of people think that we do. It's not the case. So we sell to all kinds of different industries in all kinds of different countries. So for example, the city of Miami has used our system over 20 years. CVS Health is the 7th largest company in the United States and uses our system. Habitat for Humanity has been using our system for over a couple of decades. Firehouse Subs makes a loan to franchisees. All right, they're the franchisor. Pepperdine University makes loan to professors. U.S. Bank, a division of U.S. Bank, uses our system to manage a portfolio of 200 loans. So I could do this all day, and I won't. I won't bore you guys, but I want you to know if these non-private money lenders that aren't even in our industry are using our system and they think it's awesome to manage all of their loans, imagine what it can do for you if you're a private lender in the private lending industry doing exactly what our software is geared towards. Again, safe bet, kind of no-brainer on that one. One thing I want to touch upon real quick before I dive in is that there's different ways to manage loans, to originate loans, and to service loans. When I do presentations on servicing loans, there's really 4 avenues you can go. One is you can outsource. One, you can use spreadsheets. Another one, you can do custom programming. That's the image on the bottom left because it's a long road that doesn't end. And then the other one is software. And so if you end up on the bottom right quadrant, as far as looking at software, we can help you with that process. We know every product out there. And just so you know, there are some companies that think that they're one of 2 or 3 people that make software for origination or servicing. It's just not the case. There's 130 loan servicing software companies out there. There's about 154 loan origination software companies out there. There's about 33 pool software companies out there, right? And the interesting thing is they all say that they compete with us, but we don't compete with them. We made this market. We have the most powerful system ever made. and most of the big players in the industry use it, and we're very proud of that, and we like to keep our customers happy, and that's our thing. And so we're going to show you today some of the things that they've seen and then see what you think, okay? We've got 3 big sellers. We've got origination, servicing, and mortgage pool, right? We've got a whole bunch of different pieces, but these are the top 3 sellers and ones we're going to talk about here today. For the full list, you can go to our website and see all the pieces that we have that all work together. The cool thing about our system is all in one. You can buy different components. You can buy a certain component. You can kind of add as you go, which is kind of cool. You don't have to buy everything all at once. It all works awesome, and it all works together. Kind of like Legos, right? Different shapes, sizes, whatever, but they all connect. You know, ours is basically Legos. You consult with us, figure out what pieces you need now, which pieces you need later, and through this, they all work together, one-stop shopping. First and foremost, let's talk about origination, right? You guys don't make any money unless you're originating loans. That's how you get your commission. That's how you keep the lights on, right? So as opposed to showing you 700 cool things that our origination system does for the essence of time, let's show you 7 cool things that our system does in the essence of time. So first and foremost, we live in a digital age, right? Everybody wants to do things online. Everybody wants to use their phone. Everybody wants to go to a website. They don't want to talk to people on the phone, and they definitely don't want to fax, and they ain't going to mail. So what do? They apply online. So in our system, there is a way for your borrowers to apply online. They tell you the loan amount, this, rehab, owner occ, commercial, what's the deal, what's the property, what's the address, basic info coming in, right? It's a real simple app, goes on your site, it's embedded, you can tweak it, that'd be your logo up there. We just do up a globe just so you can see that the logo goes there. This information goes on your site, they hit submit, you're done. So here's the cool thing. Visualize this. You go to bed, you turn your phone off, you wake up in the morning, you turn your phone on. What happens on your phone? You get a text message. You have 5 new loan applications. As many people have said, it's also a book these days, make money while you sleep. You wake up, you've got some new loan applications there. Fantastic. So what do? You get these applications. Are they all perfect? Unlikely. Not all leads are created equal. Not all leads are good, right? Some are going to accept, some are going to deny. So in the private lending space, you know how many leads you get a day. You know how many leads you get on any given month. You know what percentage of ones are crap, and of that ones that aren't crap, which ones actually close. Now you can do your ratios, right? Which ones close? How many leads do I get? Which ones close, right? So first and foremost, you got to accept and deny which ones you actually want to pull into the system. And not only do you want to do that just because you need to figure out which ones are worth your time, the federal government likes to know too. They like to know these things. They want to know which ones you're accepting, which ones you're denying, why you're denying, if the person's blue, green, yellow, or purple, right? They want to know these things, and it's a federal law. It's a federal law, just like RESPA, like Dodd-Frank, like all those things, and you can't mess with this stuff. So one thing about that is in our system, to be compliant with the HMDA regs, you simply click a button. You click a button, your HMDA reporting is done for the entire year with no additional work on your part. In the interest of full disclosure, I believe there's a software company out there that does HMDA reporting for you. I think it's $2,000 a year. And so, yeah, you're doing double entry, but that's another avenue if you want to go down that road. With us, it's built into our system, and it's also free. We don't actually charge for it. So if you had an origination system, that's included. It's bulletproof with the federal stamp of approval from the CFPB, so we're good to go with that. Here's one thing that we find very interesting. All originators and all companies do things a little bit different, right? This is why companies that make loan origination software haven't had such a hard time to meet everybody's needs, because everybody's needs are different. Have you ever tried to go to lunch with a group of 5 people? How hard is it for you to agree on a restaurant? Not easy, right? Somebody wants tofu, somebody wants kale, somebody wants a steak. That's just how people are. So companies are different, right? So one thing that makes our company unique is that you don't need programmers, and you don't need to be waiting for programmers to figure out your business model, to tell you how to program it, to send it back to you to see if you like it. Our system is customizable on your end. You actually get to change the features that you want based on your underwriting guidelines, which departments get which file at which time, and it's all done on your end. It's very easy, and it's very fast, and that is our thing. We want this stuff to be easy for the end user, right? If somebody says, yeah, we can program that for you, well, you know what that means? That means you're waiting around for programming. And if you're waiting for programmers, guess what? You're going to be waiting. I know how they operate. They're not really fast, right? So what we've done is actually let the customers do this on their own in a very quick and fast manner so they can up and running within a day or two versus weeks or months, or in some cases, years. Pull credit, of course, you got to pull credit, right? You got to do background on everybody. So you pull credit, yeah, that's cool. You pull it, but then what? Well, it needs to flow into the system, right? It needs to populate all the appropriate fields. So it's not just a PDF, but you're actually populating it that you're using and producing all of your documents. Speaking of which, documents. So our documents have been reviewed by prominent attorneys for the past 35 years when we first came out with our origination platform back in the mid-'80s. So I won't bore you with all the attorneys that have looked at our doc set, but most recently is Anthony Gerasi and his team and Nemo over there at the Gerasi Law Firm. So this set is bulletproof. It's very comprehensive. There's so many documents in there that not every customer needs, but they're there because different states have different rules and different regulations. Some people are doing rehab, commercial, owner-occ. It's all over the place, and we sell our system all over the world, right? So again, we let our customers customize it to their particular needs. We don't lock them into what we've created for them. They get to tweak and modify as they see fit. It's easy and it's fast and it's up to the user. And we know that our users aren't customers. They're just people. They're just people that have a job, right? We want to make it easy for them. So we won't have it in our system unless it's easy. Okay? Oh, my 7 things are up for origination already. That was fast. Okay, on to servicing. Okay, again, 7 cool things. There's probably 7,000 in servicing, but let's just talk about 7. Okay? First and foremost, most programmers do not like making reports. It is considered grunt work, it is considered janitor work, and it's mopping the floors at the end of the day at the restaurant. Lowest level position, right? So programmers hate doing reports. They like to make programs, they don't like making reports. So again, we are different. There's almost 100 reports in our system. Statements, reports, glorious, customizable, color, charts, graphs, emailable, downloadable, exportable, convertible to any format. There is no other system that has the reporting that our system does. And if you're a partner in a company and your job's raising capital, you need to show these people you're trying to get capital from what you're up to, what the performance has been, and things like that. So you will not find a system that is better on the reporting side than our system. Our customers tell us they've made more money raising capital with this lender statement of account than any other marketing plan they've ever had in their entire lives. I've literally had people calling me saying, AJ, it worked. This guy just committed $3 million with me because I sent him this. And I've had that story over and over again in my 18 years here. So you want to raise capital, you got to buy the right system. It's not just a back office automation app, right? But let's talk about back office automation. Okay, so what's a pain in the butt at year-end? Year-end reporting, 1098s and 1099s. Companies with high volume, what do? They buy the paper, they print them out, they have people stuff them, they have an assembly line, depending on the number of loans. I have people that say they come in on a weekend, they bring pizzas, they bring their kids, they put movies on, right? Big pain in the butt. Okay, so we solved that problem. In our system, if you click the button that says do it for me, we will print them, we will put them on the forms, we will stick them in envelopes, we will lick the envelope, we will put a stamp on the envelope, and then we'll mail them off for you. And that whole process is very, very cheap. We've got it down to a science at this point with our team. And the cool thing is, to have this done for you at the end of the year, you literally click a button that says do it for me. That's all you have to do in our system. There is no other system that does that, by the way. And you'll see that throughout the thing today. ARM loans. Okay, so many of you are doing short-term interest-only rehab loans at 6 months. Nobody's really caring about the rates moving. It's not going to really affect you too much, right? If it's an 1/8 of a point or 1/4 of a point, it doesn't really matter. Okay, we'll start doing a 9-month loan, 1-year loan, 2-year loan, right? And the other thing is, you know what rates have been doing the past 10 years. So I don't know how clearly you can see this on the screen, but look at the rates. 2009, they basically remained almost unchanged if you look at prime until 2015. And what has it been doing since 2015? Well, it's been going up. Yeah, that's not going to change. That's going to keep going up. I'm telling you, we have customers already writing ARM loans because their investors are like, hey, if you're charging more to the borrower, then I want to get my piece. So a lot of our customers are doing ARM loans as they're doing HELOCs. So when you're looking at a system, you want a system that will actually take whatever index the loan is tied to, find the changes in the rates when those rates occur, flow those changes through the loans to those tied to those indexes, change the regular scheduled payment amount to the borrower, notify the borrower about those rate changes, send a statement saying your new rate is this, your old rate was that, and when we process a payment, if the borrower's delinquent, it remembers what the old rate was and what the new rate was. I'm telling you folks, I've been doing this a long time. There is no other system on the planet that does this. And I know this because we get calls from banks saying our system that we spent $10 million for doesn't handle ARM loans well. It's manual. Every rate change on every loan we go in manually. And I'm like, you spent $20 million for the system and it doesn't do that? Yeah. So we know this, right? So you will be writing ARM loans soon enough. And if you don't, your competitors will be. I encourage you to explore that because it's an opportunity not everybody's tapped into yet. Secure payments. You want to make things easy for people, right? If you want them to make payments on time, or if they're behind, they get caught up real quick, have them pay online or over the phone. Borrowers don't like paying late fees. You might like collecting those late fees. It's your option, but if you want your borrowers to pay online, we got that too. Other cool thing that's popular is QuickBooks interface. So QuickBooks is the most popular accounting system in the United States. Ours is the most popular loan servicing system in the United States. Makes sense for us to have a partnership with them, to have an interface. Ironically enough, a lot of people don't know this, but QuickBooks actually tried to make a loan servicing platform not that long ago. You can only imagine what happened, right? They had about 70 programmers. They had about 32 project managers. They wanted to talk to us. We told them we weren't interested. This was a long time ago. And they spent about 5 years, gobs and gobs of money. At the end of the day, guess what happened? They said it was too difficult. It was too difficult to make a robust loan servicing system. And that was QuickBooks and the Intuit people. So when someone says, hey, we're making a loan servicing system, all I say is good luck. Call me in 40 years, because it took us that long for us to get where we are today. So we got a little bit of a head start there. Popular feature is the QuickBooks interface. Text alerts, another popular feature, right? We just rolled this out less than a year ago. It was huge. So one cool thing, it can automatically notify a borrower and say, hey, you know, your payment's due on Friday. Make sure your money's there, or make sure you mail it in. You know, like with CVS, like I was alluding to earlier, it says, hey, Jim, your Prozac's ready. You know, go get it, right? So guess what? Your payment's coming up. Make sure you make it on time. Or a text alert can automatically go out and say, you missed your payment. You're delinquent now. You got to get current. So that's cool on the borrower side. It helps the performance of the loans tremendously. One thing that we're finding is the investors like it more than the borrowers, because our customers, they set it up in the sense that whenever an investor is paid in our system, ACH, electronic deposit, or check, a text goes out to the investor and says, dear John, we just put $7,000 in your bank account. Have a nice day, ABC Loan Company. That's the kind of thing why I get phone calls saying, AJ, I'm an investor, and I only want to invest with people that have your system. Do you know anybody in Fresno? Do you know anybody in Austin? Do you know anybody in Nantucket? Right? That's the calls I get on a regular basis. I want to know somebody that uses your system over there, because they've heard about these things and they like these things. And I have private lenders calling me saying, AJ, I was going to like haggle you, but basically the truth is this investor I have, he's got big pockets. He won't invest with me unless I have your system. So I think I just lost my leverage. I'm like, correct. But we charge the same price to everybody anyway, so it doesn't matter. We had an app on the Apple Store long before people even knew what the Apple Store was, right? It was still fairly new at the time. This is for investor access, which I can show you later if we have time. Hugely popular. That this particular app on the App Store, investors log in with their iPad. And a lot of these investors have iPads. They didn't back then, right? They were still a little scared of technology. But you'll find the older investor in particular, yeah, they have phones, but they do like their iPads. So that's why we have an iPad app. It's actually free. It's on the App Store as long as you're using the web publishing feature in our system, which I can talk about later. Man, this is going fast. All right, mortgage pools. How am I doing time-wise, Elizabeth? Good. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Okay. So, all right. So I'll blow through this as well, and then we'll get to the Q&A. So mortgage pools, right? Again, 700 cool things. Let's just talk about 7 cool things. One of the 7 cool things. Some people set up a fund, or clubs that we're setting up a fund. What kind of fund? I don't know. Okay, well, who's your attorney? We're not sure yet. So at that juncture, if you're at that place, we can help you. We have attorneys that we recommend highly. We have different prospectuses that we've seen over the years. We know the markets. Different people set up different types of pools depending on the region they're in and what type of investor they're going to attract, and if it's a Reg D offering or depending on the state, right? It's not one size fits all. So I always think it's hilarious when someone's like, yeah, the software company, yeah, they said they do pools. I'm like, really? Well, why don't you ask them what kind of pools? And they go, well, they just said they did it. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Okay, so we have 3 pooling modules, right? And they're all distinctly different. And whatever one you go with works with the rest of our system, all completely integrated. For example, some people have a capital-based fund. Some people have a fixed share fund. Some people have a floating share fund. So, you know, you talk to the accountants, depending on the state and the region, you ask them what they think is the most equitable way to treat an investor in a fund. And they're pretty adamant about their opinions about a floating share value. And there's been many discussions at many conferences with the attorneys battling it out, with the accountants battling it out, with the legal folks battling it out, with the representatives from these huge organizations, hammering out what they think is the best way to treat investors, right? And so there's strong opinions about floating share values, right? It is incredibly complicated to program, because when somebody buys in to the fund, you have to take a snapshot of the portfolio and calculate what one share is worth. Horribly complicated, right? So that's why there is no other software company that does that, and we do. We don't care what kind of fund you set up, but we want to have the discussion with you and figure out the best pooling module for you. So for example, what if your pool has a debt component? This has come up a lot these days. 3 years ago it was waterfalls, now it's debt components, right? So we have that too. It's a way to increase the returns on the fund. Safe parking money, people like that. Good bet, we can talk about that as well. Buybacks, rollovers, income partners, growth partners. There's so much involved that it's hard to summarize in a short presentation about why it's popular and why you have to have these things. But if somebody says we manage a pool or we have pool solver, my suspicion is they don't. They don't even know what this stuff means, right? Let alone program it, right? So we can show you all this stuff when we do a live demonstration with you. Multiple pools. We don't charge every time you set up a pool. Some people do. We don't care. You can have 100 pools, 5 pools, 2 pools. We have a customer that has 7 pools. We have a customer that has 12 pools. Different pools, different types of loans, different returns, different types of investors, right? So if you're going places in the lending industry and if you're just starting out and you got big plans, you want to go with the system that actually is going to be the system you'll use forever. Not a Band-Aid or something cheap just to hold you over, right? Because if you want to raise capital, you got to do it right. If you want to be a big boy, you got to act like a big boy, right? So the system has to handle where you're going to be tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, not just exactly what you're doing today. For example, these are hugely beneficial and popular with our customers when they do their Christmas bonuses to their investors. So, right, so some people say Christmas bonus, you mean like to an employee? No, supplemental pro rata distribution, right? Hugely popular, depends on if you're distributing all income at each period or if you're saving it, setting it aside, do a waterfall at the end, split the profits, all that different things that you can do. In our system, you literally click a button and everybody gets their proportional piece. They usually do it at the end of the year, roll it, make sure it's done before tax time so the investor has opportunity to give you more money before December 31st. Hugely popular, great way to raise capital and referrals as well. We can tell you more about that. We had talked to Armanino on and off over the years. We have a great relationship with those folks. There are other accountants that we recommend as well, but everybody knows Armanino. They're the largest accounting firm in the real estate industry in the United States. They have hundreds and hundreds of accountants on staff. And the reps that we work with manage the mortgage pool department, right? So here's an interesting little tidbit. We asked Armanino not that long ago, said, okay, so out of all your customers that you audit mortgage pools on, how many of them do you have? And they said, I think we had about 40 pools that they audit, which is amazing. It's huge, right? So I said, out of those 40 that you audit their pools on, how many use a mortgage office? And they said it's 39. 39 out of 40 pools that they audit are run on the mortgage office, right? And of course, as a sales rep, so what's my next question? What about that one guy? They go, well, he's using spreadsheets, but he's not doing so good. I'm like, well, that's weird. So, yeah, stamp approval, strong company, highly recommended. So I've gotten through some highlights of our system, talked about how everything works together. And so at this point, I'm running a hair late, but I do have time for some questions. Elizabeth, has any, oh my God.
So
wow.
They can, bottom right of their screen, or they can also email us. They have been emailing us. So I have a question from Regina. If I buy your software, will you take me out to that bar on the ocean?
Oh my God.
But she also asked, does someone typically buy your system?
Okay, first question. Regina, yes, we'll take you to that bar in the ocean, and yes, we can have some libations, not a problem. When it's typically, it's funny, I get that question a lot. Most customers either buy our servicing system when they get about 20 loans on the books, when they've got Excel spreadsheets, that's usually when they get the phone call, or when they're originating about 3 to 5 loans a month, that's usually when we get the phone call.
Okay, so how much does your system cost? Teresa.
Teresa, thanks for joining. Question. So it's a great question. So we've got a bunch of different products. I'll give you 2 numbers that'll stick in your mind, and they go up from there depending on what you get, right? So if you want to buy our standalone system, perpetual license on-premise, it's $10,000 bucks. Goes up from there depending on what you get. What's really popular now there is our SaaS, which is our system basically in the cloud. It's a very low point of entry. It's $470 bucks a month. It can go up depending on what you get, but starts at $470 a month. And by the way, you folks that are interested in seeing our system, we do live demonstrations, right? Where we actually show the system based on your business. You and your team in a conference room, put us on speakerphone. We'll actually dive into the weeds with you in our system. Be happy to show it to you.
That was our next question. How do we see the system in action? So I think you answered that.
Yes, you can call us, email us, phone number. We'll pick a time. We'll do a live demonstration with you.
All right, so we have a James here. I'm looking at other software products. Why is yours better?
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so yeah, as I said, I think there's 130 loan servicing systems on the market, and I think there's 154 origination systems on the market. I think it's 32 on the pool side. So there's a ton of products, and I invite you to actually explore all of them. I have a list of all the products, so if you'd like that list, that you can email me and I'll give it to you, and you happen to reach out to those folks. When you do a demonstration of us, we don't like to talk bad about other people that sell software. They're just trying to make a living, God bless them. But when you do a demonstration with us, we'll show you our system. Most people, after seeing our system, conclude it's head and above everything else on the market, but maybe based on your needs, it isn't. So we'll just show you what it does, and then you tell us.
All right. So Chris says, who's your biggest customer? Who's your smallest? And what is your typical customer?
So biggest customer. Okay, so we've got a couple customers. One of them has $3 billion on the books. One of them has $2 billion on the books, and there's about 7 that have $1 billion on the books. So those would be our largest customers. All of them run pools, by the way, not a coincidence. You can ask me more about that offline if you like. Smallest customer, we sell people with 0 loans, 1 loans, and 2 loans. And it's not because that's all they're ever going to do. It's because that they're just starting out and they want to get the right software first time around and not dick around with it, right? They just want to get the right system and then not have to think about it and just focus on expanding the business, not shopping to replace software. Typical customer, our typical customer does 10 loans a month and has 200 loans on the books. That's pretty standard with us. We do have customers doing 30, 40, and 50 loans a month, 60 loans a month. We have a couple of customers doing 100 loans a month. But I'd say on average, you know, about 10 loans a month is kind of standard, 200 loans on the books.
Okay. Eric wants to know if there's training.
There's training. Yeah, you didn't see the thing. I guess you missed that part. So that's where we have classes here in California. We do online training. We also have consultants that actually go on site to customers' locations if they need it. They usually don't. And then we've got fantastic tech support. We're here 11 hours a day, full tech support team, nice folks, experts in the industry.
Okay. We have a question. Is it cloud-based?
Yeah, so that's popular these days, right? So you can have the system in the cloud. You can log in from any device, iPad, tablet, MacBook, Chromebook, any device, anywhere. Just count the number of people using it at the same time. So you can buy one user and log in from 100 places. We don't care. That's really popular. It's also very cost-effective. Starts at $470 a month. You know, less than probably what you're paying for your car. So, and you get our system and a lot of the cool things that I showed you today, right? So that's a safe bet for people starting out.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great one. Is Elizabeth single? Oh, that's hilarious. That's I'm not going to tell her. Well, no, that's personal information.
Okay,
She'll be at the next conference. How's that?
Let's move on to the next question. What is the birthday pricing? And also, is there an online portal for investors to log in?
Okay, so since we're up against the time, the wall time-wise, so let's talk about that. So let me see here if I can share this with you. So let me go to here. Okay, so birthday pricing, just call us. We'll give you a good deal. Just call us. We got to figure out what you need first. We'll go from there. So what you're seeing on the screen is for the investors, right? They can log in, check their portfolio, see how the loans are performing. They can see details, communicate with you. There's investment offerings up here. They can actually go on and see which loans you're offering, if they want to invest in a fractionalized deal or own the loan outright, number of loans, performance, things like that. The cool thing about the borrower side, they can actually make a payment online like we talked about, via a debit card or credit card. Very popular feature for people that are delinquent, which tends to be most rehabbers these days. And if you got a fund, you got that too, right? If you get a fund or multiple funds, you may have a whole bunch of different funds that you're managing, or somebody's IRA, or your kid's IRA, or your kid's trust fund, or whatever. You're managing all those monies. You can merge those accounts and toggle back and forth with our system. And then here's the online loan app, which we talked about. So, okay, so I'm getting the elbow from my marketing gal here. So
Chrissy, anybody else have any further questions? We're going to wrap this up for today.
We've got a couple more I think we can get to. Let's see what happens. So Marcus was the very first person to ask a question earlier today. How well does the software work in Canada? And does it translate to any Canadian lending?
We are the largest software provider in Canada. So if you're in Toronto, you probably know Romspin, Foremost, New Haven, Ontario Wealth, and all those guys. They're larger players in Toronto. They use our system. In Vancouver, you've got Conconi, Lanyard, Trez Capital, those guys. They've all used our system for 20 years or more. We do typical GST, the T5s, the T3s, anything Canadian we do. So Mark, definitely reach out. It's a popular system in Canada.
Okay. Maria looks like she left, so we'll follow up with her question afterwards. So basically, she was asking about updates and upgrades, and a little bit of a combination about how long does it take to do installations and upgrades once somebody jumps on board with you guys?
Great question. So upgrades are easy. We send a notification saying, here's a new update, check it out. And some people install them immediately, and some people wait a few weeks, and some people do it on a Friday afternoon. You get an email notification, you get a text notification. We show you what the new changes and enhancements are, which we do all the time. Our programmers don't ever stop programming. And so once you do that, you click the button that says install latest version. You click install, run, I agree, accept, and then in about 7 minutes, you have the latest version of our system. And huge updates are 3 a year. We do a lot of minor updates in between. We have a half a dozen programmers here. That's all they do is program. And so they're always coming up with new cool things, right? Not everybody needs the new cool thing. Some people are happy with what they have. So if you want those updates, they're included in the annual charge, and they're very easy to install.
Right, awesome. The rest are lots of people saying, show me, and they want demos. So that'll be fantastic to do some follow-up this afternoon. And before we end, first of all, AJ, thank you very much for jumping on board and telling everybody all about you guys. It was fun to see the pictures when we're out and about doing things, and I never get to see the rest of your team anymore, so it's nice to see them out having a couple of drinks occasionally.
Oh, you know, it's funny because I had pictures of me with my newest hobby, which is surfing, and Elizabeth didn't think that was relevant. And then I also had some pictures of the Fort Knox chicken coop and 3 dozen chickens, and Elizabeth said save that for the Apple magazine. That's a little teaser for everybody else.
Yeah, hang around for the edition of AJ. He's going to be on the cover of the Private Lender magazine coming up here soon. And then you'll see on your screen now he's also hosting our networking activity at the conference on Monday afternoon. So make sure you jump in for that. I'm sure you'll have the bullhorn, right? I can't imagine we can ever take it away. It's like a calling piece.
I will. It's permanently glued to my hand.
Right. And then for you guys who are AAPL members, don't forget, if you signed into your account and go into the members offers, you're going to find our strategic partnership with the mortgage office there. So if you're considering jumping on board with them, then there might be some offers available for you to talk to these guys about. That's it for today, right?
Chrissy, you're a great host. No, Chrissy, you're a great host. Really appreciate the invite. Appreciate the coordination. Very nice job. And then for the rest of the folks, just before we say goodbye, go to our site, themortgageoffice.com. Email us at sales@absnetwork.com. I'll put you on with one of my handy-dandy reps who are nice, smart. We'll ask about your business. We go from there. Love to show you the system. And thank you guys for your time today. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. Thanks for an awesome presentation, guys.
See you later.
Bye-bye.